Alcor and I are nearly finished with the terminal. With some final adjustments, we should be able to use it to reach Canopus.
I believe I'm not required for this part of the process. My work on the skill crack modifications should soon be finished as well.
Good work, both of you. Through our battle with the shards, we have finally found a glimmer of hope. We may have a chance at defeating Canopus. Still, before we begin this final battle, there is a decision we must make. Do you prefer to be first? Rather, I have no intention of questioning your priorities, but now is not the time for that. We must decide what we will do with the world after Canopus is defeated.
That is true. Defeating Canopus is a necessity to stop the world's collapse. However, the more important question is how we shall deal with future administrator invasions. It is a decision that must be made now. The answer we decide will determine what kind of world the next regression will bring us.
I'm sure we each have our own opinions. However, we need to agree on a single course of action. Any disagreement can affect morale.
Yamato's got a point there. Hey, does this situation remind you guys of anything? Like, last time, with Polaris? We all gathered like this and spoke pretty freely about what we wanted. Then again, last time we all ended up at each other's throats because we couldn't agree.
I haven't forgotten. But this time, we can stand together. We can overcome this crisis.
I gotta agree with you there. It makes me damn proud.
Agreed. So let us speak freely now. What will we do with the world when Canopus lies defeated? If anyone has an idea on how to deal with the invading administrators, speak now.
We have to do something about them before they annihilate humanity. But what can we do?
Well, I've got an idea how we can handle them. It's simple. We destroy every administrator. We eradicate every sword that comes for us.
Mr. Kuriki, are you mad? There are countless administrators and swords, as numerous as the stars themselves. It would be a fool's errand to try and slay them all.
I think our odds are pretty good, actually. Once we defeat Canopus, we'll have access to the astrolabe once again. We hold the administrative authority, and Psyduke can manipulate the astrolabe. The damage caused by each invasion could be easily undone by regressing the world to a previous state. As long as humanity controls the astrolabe, we stand a solid chance of defeating the administrators. It'll be tough, yes, but eventually, there'll be no more to invade us.
But Mr. Kuriki, if all of you or Alcor are slain, that would be the end of the species. The astrolabe requires all the administrative authority and Alcor to function. I could not manipulate the astrolabe. Much of my existence is human after all.
Well, if that's the case, we just have to make sure we keep ourselves and Psyduke safe.
I'm totally down for this. It's pretty frickin' simple. All we gotta do is kill the damn monsters that try to kill us, right? Besides, it really pisses me off that these dumbass administrators get to decide what happens in our world. This world belongs to humans. We make our own decisions.
That's my point. This is our world. We don't need administrators. And as long as we reject their rule, we control the astrolabe. After they're gone, we can still use the astrolabe to improve the world, end all suffering and poverty. It'll even be possible for us to restore the environment to its original state. We can improve our science, advance our medicine, heal those that suffer from incurable illnesses. The power of the astrolabe shouldn't be used to lord over humankind. It should be used to help them prosper. It'll be a long and arduous battle, but imagine what humanity could gain from victory.
True. Controlling the astrolabe would be a great boon to mankind.
See? Sako agrees. What about the rest of you? You don't seem convinced. Keep it in mind. So, any other ideas?
To fight a nigh-endless onslaught of administrators and swords. I suppose that is one possibility, Shining One. Ah, yes. It is possible to appoint a human as administrator, and have them ascend to the heavenly throne.
A human administrator? Is that even possible?
It is, though to do so, we require the reactivation of all functions of the astrolabe. By rewriting the data in the Akashic record, we could change a human into a being more like me, which would allow them to ascend the throne.
I see. And we could use the triangulum I captured, repurposing them into this administrator's swords. We could do all that with the power of the astrolabe. It is like my plan, but will not require the multitude of sacrifices.
Correct. Moreover, should a human take the throne, there is no worry that they would wish to harm mankind. He or she would, in essence, be caretaker of the world.
A human governing the human world. So that is the future you seek.
Correct. But I should stress that the human who takes on this role will shoulder a heavy burden. They will have the power to reshape the world and the responsibility to guide it.
If they wanted, they could alter the world however they please. But should the world take a turn for the worse, all responsibility would rest upon them. A heavy burden indeed. Although if one of sound morals were to take up the throne, the world could turn out beautiful.
True. Alas, there is one flaw to keep in mind. The human that sits upon the heavenly throne would remain forever in the Akasha stratum. They would never be able to speak to their friends, to share the same time as them. They would know the world only from a distance.
No. That sounds really lonely. That would be almost like death.
Although, the idea itself isn't a bad one. If a human becomes an administrator, we could restore the damage done to the world, and the other administrators wouldn't invade.
Yeah, but who would take up the throne then at such a terrible price?
Alright, so that's another option before us. Allow me to offer up one more alternative. We could create an entirely new world.
A new world? What does that mean exactly?
It means an escape from the administrator's system. The astrolabe can not only regress the world, but it can recreate it from nothing. And this new world would be outside the influence of the Akashic record. In other terms, we would no longer be bound to the rule of the administrators.
But Yamato Hotsuin, you and I discussed the flaws in this solution previously.
I'm aware, Alcor. This newly created world would begin in a primeval state, devoid of all our history and technology. We must avoid this at all costs.
Is there a way around that? Some way we can make it not primeval?
There is. It requires considerable use of the administrative authority.
What do you mean?
The administrative authority has the ability to inherently project one's will onto the world. We could further divide the authority you all possess amongst the entire population of the world. The combined will of 7 billion people would be actively reflected in the new world's creation. Collectively, there is a chance we could reshape everything. If we enacted this plan, perhaps we could avoid the primeval world entirely.
Oh, cool. If we make all that happen, maybe we could get a world pretty close to, this one. One big problem, though. There's barely anyone left alive in this world. There's certainly nowhere near 7 billion.
Even when a human has died, their data still exists within the Akashic record. We can access that data and give to them a share of the administrative authority. If we do this, we can use the willpower of the deceased to change the world. The problem is, we can't be certain that the administrative authority will function the same in this new world. there's no assurance that we will be able to shape this new world as we see fit.
True. There is one other complication worth our discussion. If we are able to use the authority to reshape this new world, it will be forged by the will of all people.
So we won't just get people with good intentions, we'll get the will of evil people too. If it turns out that humanity is predominantly wicked, frightened, desperate, we'll get a world that will reflect that.
Yes, that's correct. And the world we make would be permanent. There'd be no chance to recreate it again. After all, if there's no administrator system, there will be no astrolabe. With no astrolabe, there'd be no regression. We'd never be able to modify the world or return it to a past state. But consider the alternative scenario. It might be a better world than this one. The will of 7 billion people, all wishing for some form of happiness, would be imprinted upon it.
We're basically betting the fate of the entire species on a single roll of the dice.
It is surely dangerous, but I think it is a risk worth taking. To strive for success, one must take calculated risks. Does anyone have any further ideas? Well then, it seems these are our 3 best theories. Now we must choose one.
Brother, wait. I'm sure everyone needs time to think before we commit to a solution. Why don't we allow them all a moment to ponder this rather than forcing them to decide right now?
You have a point.
Shining One, which path would you choose? I believe that no one would dispute your appraisal of the situation.
He's right. I mean, you aren't our fearless leader for nothing.
As long as you're with us, I think we could survive any world.
It seems as though your opinion will be the deciding factor for all of us. We don't have long before the Void takes this world. You will have to decide before then. As for the rest of you, make your final preparations. Battle awaits.
Hello, Shining One.
Oh, so have you given any thought to what we'll do with the world? I see.
In that case, would you like for me to explain my proposal once more? But let me remind you, it is just one of a number of possibilities. It is up to you to decide the fate of the world. As long as you understand, the fate of this, the human world, should be decided by humans after all. Now then, let's discuss the possibility of making a human into an administrator. Until now, administrators ruled over this world. They had the final say in its future and the future of its people. If a human were to ascend the heavenly throne, they would be the one to rule this world. It would be a human world, governed by a human administrator. This is the path I have put forth for this world. It is less dangerous than fighting every sword and administrator, and less risky than creating a new world. Of course, if you choose to fight the administrators, you will retain access to the astrolabe. But is such power worth the cost? Creating a new world has the benefit of disabling the administrator system. But we are unsure whether or not the administrative authority will even function properly to create a world. And even if we were successful, there's no knowing what kind of world 7 billion human wills would forge. Shining One, yet remember, any human who ascends the throne would be burdened with a great responsibility. He or she would be faced with the fate of all the world after all.
True, but if that person were able to rule well as administrator, they could actually make a positive impact. They could guide humanity to a brighter future. The most terrifying prospect is in the execution. Once they've ascended the throne, they could never leave the Akasha Stratum. That poor soul will spend the rest of eternity all alone.
This is certainly a consideration. If a human were to sit upon the heavenly throne, then this world would truly belong to humanity. How the world would progress from there depends entirely on your species' potential. And I wish to see where that potential leads. So, which path will you take? Shining One, there isn't much time before the void consumes the world. We cannot delay forever.
So, have you come to a decision? Then again, the only logical course of action would be to follow the path I have laid out.
My brother is correct. The plan has its share of risks, but a new world presents the best future for mankind.
The administrator system is the sole reason why humankind now stands on the precipice of extinction. In order to completely escape it, we must create a brand new world.
Well, maybe. But we don't even know that we can make a new world with the administrative authority. And even if we can make it, could we make it a modern world like this one? Everyone's will is going to be reflected in the new world. Even evil people. The world could end up totally messed up.
You are correct. The world would reflect the individual wills of 7 billion people. And all humans, myself included, are imperfect, selfish, and foolish. Trash at the very best. We are weak to temptation, we are greedy and lazy, and easily corruptible. There is no doubt that such iniquities might influence the world in a negative way. But we cannot know for certain, and I feel this is a chance worth taking.
Why?
Because even the lowest of mankind has the potential to grow and change. Daichi Shijima, Ionita, Yuzuru Akie, Hinako Kujo, Keita Wakui, Airi Ban, Jungo Torii, Makoto Sako, Otome Yanagiya, Fumi Kano, Ronaldo Kuriki. Every single one of you has grown through the ordeal of the administrators. The same can be said for every human. People have the potential to change.
You have changed as well, Yamato Hotsuin.
Our kind may now be able to wish for a better world. A world that would not be consumed by wickedness and greed. If the majority of people can put the success of mankind over their own petty desires, then the newly created world may yet surpass our current one. Indeed, this choice relies heavily on whether we truly believe mankind can change for the better.
I may only be partially a human, but I dearly love humanity. There is a dark, ugly side, but humanity is also capable of beauty and passion and purity. I want to believe in mankind. I believe they could make a better world.
Join me on this path. I knew you would understand.
So you have decided that we should create a new world. If that is the solution you have reached, then it is the solution we will all endorse.
No more administrators guiding the world. Humans will be free to create their own history.
So, this is the path you have chosen. Then I will argue mine no further. A new world, broken free of the administrator system, where man's potential is limitless. Sounds pretty good to me.
Then I believe we are decided. All that remains are the modifications to our skill crack ability and the terminal.
The terminal modifications are complete, but I have yet to finish the expansion of the skill crack function. It should be done by 3 o'clock in the morning, by your reckoning of time.
Very well. Until then, we must all make our final preparations for the battle against Canopus. You are all dismissed.
I understand you intend to recreate the world anew and be free of the administrators. It is a precarious proposition, to be sure. However, if it works out, it will eliminate the problem at its core. There There is one additional thing of which I must inform you. I am unsure that I will be able to exist in your new world. I am deeply sorry that I cannot accompany you for this, Master. There is not much time left, but I swear that I will be at your side until the very last moment. Until this final battle has ended. The best of luck to you in the upcoming battle with Canopus.
Judgment Day. The sky regains a fleeting calm, and final prayers are offered.